Damn it. I thought I changed all of it. Ah, it's still Dead by Daylight. Sorry about that. SSRT. What's up, bro? Gonna watch Kai. Nah, that's my bad. This game was intense. And I mislabeled my streams. Like a dumbass. It is Rocket League, not Dead by Daylight. This shit must have been quiet. Make sure this shit can hear. Oh, it's in there.
What a save! Magnificent goal!
Right there.
What a save! Seconds left on the clock. What a save! What a save! 30 seconds left on the clock. Sensational goal! A lovely header. Going to need a tune-up after that.
This damn game.
special guests from the show and exclusive giveaways. Visit your local Verizon store to enter the Love is Blind Fan Event Sweepstakes today. Plus, catch Season 9 with Verizon 5G home internet and the Netflix and HBO Max perk for only $10 a month. Necessary 21 plus 50 USDC. Ends October 15th. Rules at sweepsbyverizon.com.
Makes all the difference.
I am Loki, god of mischief and the king of Asgard. I am wily, unreliable, vindictive, and yet oddly compelling.
We'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
I'm everywhere. Well, dear, how else is anything done in this universe?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I outnumber you.
Don't have this area makes
I have not seen so many spiders since. Never mind. Your medicine. I unleash the Vishanti's power! Literally! I have no time for you to leave that to my My thanks.
It's spider time! It's spider time!
That's right. Let your enemies underestimate you.
Disappear!
Another go.
Leave them to touch you!
The more the merrier. They dare to lay hands on me? I outnumber you.
And here we go again.
Now might be a good time to stop them.
No fucking chance.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. We are Cloak and Dagger.
Okay, yeah, Moon Knight's looking pretty good.
There's always a spark of light in darkness. 30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Your arms are maddening. Not my arms. Conscious. Even so, maddening.
If I fall on your side, isn't that what you want?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
The occult threats to this world are many, and they grow stronger. I am grateful for Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! I can take it. Enemy in front. I am strength. Spider Zero must reach your goal. This is our duty. Unfold
Yeah, come on, Wait, not wait. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I wasn't sure we'd get this chance.
I see why you like
Punisher's down.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I can get it. You come on. I'm gonna do that.
Magnetic mastery.
Only 60 seconds left. You're halfway there. Keep going.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
That killed me?
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
I'm back to shed some light.
For mutant kind!
Long exploding fire. Much better. The final 10 seconds. Can't monitor what we can't see. That topped me off. Thanks. Almost there. Don't trip
Football is here, and Uber Eats has deals on your favorite restaurants and grocery stores all season. Like buy one, get one Butterburger cheese from Culver's. When football makes you hungry, get deals all season long on Uber Eats. Taxes, fees, and terms apply. Offer valid through 9/28. See app for details.
Verizon and Netflix are teaming up to host a fan event for Love is Blind Season 9 at Empower Field at Mile High with special guests from the show and exclusive giveaways. Visit your local Verizon store to enter the Love is Blind fan event sweepstakes today. Plus, catch Season 9 with Verizon 5G home internet and the Netflix and HBO Max perk for only $10 a month. No purchase necessary. 21 plus 50 USDC. Ends October 15th. Rules at sweepsbyverizon.com.
Come on. Stay like this. They added more costumes. That's a W.
Team to win this one.
Escape pod ready. Opening escape access.
Round. I I've heard stories about you and the chaos you cause for countless spider heroes.
Where'd you go?
Thursday.
Just Thursday? Or you got the weekend?
No. Or I think I got the weekend. Good night.
Now I see them. Feeling fantastic.
I would knit the dimensions back together if it were within my power.
The moon haunts you!
Tandy needs help.
No symbol of function can resist Dr. Stray. Your predecessor.
I am ready to put on a show!
The Netflix and HBO Max perk for only $10 a month. No purchase necessary, 21.
The Sorcerer Supreme. Let moonlight protect his
I am ready to put on a show.
The Sorcerer Supreme lives once more.
You're mine. No worries. Only 60 seconds left. Namor should be ashamed. Take down no. Am I invisible? Only 60 seconds left.
The moon haunts you!
By the shades of the Seraphim, I return.
Leave with Reek of Desperation, Namor. I am ready to put on a show!
By the eye of Agamotto!
Let's go.
The current score is 3-2-0. Time to switch things up, including which.
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Magic is not to be owned, but to be felt. Experienced. Lead.
We'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong. Dr. Strange. Wow.
We're in this together, Tandy Bowen. Get the stars out of your eyes and let us fight.
All business.
The fate of many worlds is at stake. It is a mighty quest.
Form up around me.
The battle starts in 5.
Season 9 at Empower Field at Mile High with special guests from the show and exclusive giveaways. Visit your local Verizon store to enter the Love is Blind fan event sweepstakes.
Everything most decidedly does not happen for a reason.
On Netflix and HBO Max, they come out $10 a month. No purchase necessary.
Another hour.
The moon haunts
match for the Sorcerer Supreme.
I'm at maximum force.
I'm opening a portal.
Shields up.
A shortcut through space. Good medicine.
Watch your back.
Together to victory!
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
The Sorcerer Supreme returns.
You're mine. Better stop that vehicle.
I don't think that's welcome committee.
Only 60 seconds left. He's still good nature. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Maximum pulse!
The Doctor is in.
It's the grand finale. We're finding our groove.
I can't take it.
Enemy in front of us.
Maximum pulse!
Final score. 3-2-2. Another epic victory!
That sound better. Should be better now. Just had to put the volume. More? Oh, my bad. It's probably the music. The music was loud as hell. It should be better. Okay.
Round 1, go!
Chaos surrounds us.
Really? You can't hear me now? Nah, you're lying. Shit says like 300. I'm not that quiet. Am I? Or I just doubled it. Hey, what's up, man?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it? Feeling strong already.
I don't know what else I could do. God damn it.
Help! So cold.
It's because
Here's an
everything
enemy.
else.
Friends, gather around. Disappear!
Not done.
We must retreat for safety. Under my spell.
Now, a disappearing act.
The time entanglement is a vexing problem. Even for the sorcerers.
Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Good medicine.
Chin up. Help, friends.
Behold the god of thunder! I am Asgard's might! Assemble!
Hey, sorry that you're the IT guy right now. I gotta sound alright now.
Sorcerer Supreme. Good medicine.
Only 60 seconds left. Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Our enemies are
Disappear!
I'm doing this my way.
Chin up.
I purge the darkness.
Watch yourself around here.
Down to 30 seconds.
Don't drown in the darkness.
We must press the attack.
You'll want to protect your rear.
I need assistance.
Sound is full.
Visible Woman is here.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Armed and dangerous!
Adding to your underworld army.
Tell me, noble beast. Protecting this sacred forest, while I was banished far beyond this realm.
A frog, my liege. But at least it was one with a hammer. Our foes may be near.
It pleases me to be helpful.
Enemies, perfect.
What am I? Invisible?
Awaken the rage of battle!
Chin up.
I am strengthened for
Halfway there. Keep going.
See the adversary.
Come with.
That's the booster.
We guard the galaxy, sure. But sometimes we take stuff other people are guarding.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Awaken the rage of battle! Lightning to fight!
Someone scratch my
Opportunity for progress.
Only 60 seconds left.
raccoon's
How
job.
refreshing.
Join me.
Hell unleashed!
Get that vehicle moving again.
My crows!
How was it getting? Oh, bullshit.
Rockets, launch it again.
Down to 30 seconds.
Even when the multiverse is in danger, family still comes first.
Battlefield ready again.
That's much better.
One light to me.
God of thunder! Our adversaries gather.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Science solves problems.
Round 2.
Hulk and I,
Go!
we're a team.
I'm hulking out!
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Hulk, is there something on your mind? Can I help?
Yes, Cricket Lady. Go ahead, please.
Gladly. Oh, there is something else in you. Something unnatural.
Well, can't expect to win them all.
October 15th. Rules at sweepsbyverizon.com.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
The hand of heaven is here. Show some respect.
Round 1, go!
As queen of the 10th realm, kneeling is a...
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I am happy you are here, Susan. You have been a true friend since I first emerged from my cocoon.
You've certainly come a long way since the Enclave created you, Adam.
They meant to use me as a pawn in their own wicked schemes. But I had a much higher calling.
Power like yours can
The
change
battle
worlds.
starts in 5.
I'm glad
4,
you decided that it
3,
should change them for the
2,
better.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
What in the name of the accursed Allfather have I gotten into?
What am I?
That feels good. claim.
Healing power. Enemies on approach.
My turn.
Unite.
I require some aid.
Don't step on lava.
Let me return the favor.
Extermination!
Fate isn't sealed yet.
Turn around, they're on your back.
Ooh, that felt nice.
That's 3!
My work here is not done.
Andy needs help. Good to knock over.
Goodbye.
Pulse charge. Fire.
Cabin! Fall! Weakling!
Double KO!
My work here is not done. Goodbye. For now.
Guess we need help.
Only 60 seconds left.
Here they come now.
Turn around, they're on your back.
Feeling stronger already.
Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Supernova!
Down to 30 seconds. Double KO!
Reborn from the chaos.
The final 10 seconds.
My
Extermination!
Watch me fall. The current score is 0-0. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
You don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world. But it does help.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
I'm not the type who
Please
fades
don't go
quietly into the
Psylocke, you're not good
background.
with her.
Round 2.
It feels good to step outside.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Reed is glad to have another genius around to help him solve this, Tony.
Same. He takes my brilliant ideas and makes them ever so slightly better.
I'll be sure to tell him exactly what you said.
Please don't. There's no way I can do this without him.
Three, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Humans are so fond of their golden idols, but all of them shall bow to steel. Much better.
A little help, please. I'll get you next time.
The odds are not enough.
Twas but a stretch.
It's clear I'm still needed here.
Final score 0-1. Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Let me at him.
30 seconds before you attack.
Ever end up in your domain again?
So you say. But even a living island will meet its end, eventually.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Don't matter how old I am, I can still take out any of you chumps.
Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Healing. Why would I need healing?
Back from the brink, baby.
I'll get you next time.
The light force will heal you.
That should be it.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
Even better than my mutant power.
Got you! All the way from here!
I'll finish you up!
I don't fear him.
Out of the shadows. Your savage side is showing, Logan. How delightful.
The mission area is yours.
My time to shine.
Seriously?
Control lost.
battle.
The light always comes back. Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I spied! These your gizmos!
Don't mind me. I'm just dying. I'll patch you up.
Armed and dangerous!
Needed a little boost. Thanks.
Lights under their sword.
They've almost got it!
There is a gem. The ranks of the fall.
Mangy little space.
Control seized! For combat. I am ready to put on a show!
You're mine.
My time to shine. The area's almost yours! Control lost!
Even better than my Lights out. Now stealing the bugs everywhere.
Welcome to the Dark Force.
Before we had powers, we had each...
We have missed you on Krakoa, Logan.
There's a bigger world out there beyond our tranquil shores, bub.
And you have been busy carving your place in it, I suppose?
Not in it. Through it.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Let's go. Humans are so fond of their golden idols, but all of them shall bow to steel.
Even better than my new car. Got a spell.
I feel like myself again.
Let's do this.
Capture now!
Delightful.
Capture the mission area!
Doing major damage.
I'm ready to put on a show!
This body is flat. Clearly you needed some help. What am I? Invisible?
It's party time!
Let's destroy this nest.
That put a spring in my step.
Behold! That child!
It's clear I'm still needed here.
Indeed. I would turn around. Much better.
They've almost got it!
Why bother?
Psionic Surge!
That again. Tiny metal creatures skittering about. I can feel them. Feeling better already.
Control C's!
Fine victory. We have earned a little pride. Healing. Why would I need healing?
Assemble! Like myself again.
Take a look behind you. Let them come and face them.
Football is here, and Uber Eats has deals on your favorite restaurants and grocery stores all season. Like buy one, get one Butterburger cheese from Culver's. When football makes you hungry, get deals all season long on Uber Eats. Taxes, fees, and terms apply. Offer valid through 9/28. See app for details.
Verizon and Netflix are teaming up to host a fan event for Love is Blind Season 9 at Empower Field at Mile High with special guests from the show and exclusive giveaways. Visit your local Verizon store to enter the Love is Blind fan event sweepstakes today. Plus, catch Season 9 with Verizon 5G home internet and the Netflix and HBO Max perk for only $10 a month. No purchase necessary, 21 plus, 50 USDC. Ends October 15th. Rules at sweepsbyverizon.com.
immensely better.
I despised your voice as a child, and it hasn't improved since. Let's fight. misfortune. Ema, I'm sorry for your suffering. I wish there was another way.
There is. Surrender!
No, I can't. I won't. What Mare did.
What? Took everything away from you? I assume you'll understand then when I destroy you.
form again. people you want.
Uh-oh.
true skills? Such a waste of talent.
I needed that.
The home of your consequences.
built this game on misery and sorrow, but I have fortune on my side. Finally choose to leave this nightmare, the black dye will vanish, and you'll be forgotten. But until then, you're going to learn what it feels like to lose, over and over again. That was for taking the Visionary's memories. Fortune, remind me to never throw you again.
You have encountered my dear sister Ima, I believe.
Yes. She has a more physical approach than you.
Sounds like my sister. Because of Mayor's corruption, I assume she's quite confused. Poor thing.
That's one way to put it.
I need to know how far the corruption has gone. Ask Ima of home. Our real home. Not that nightmare version of our wonderful forest.
slings out from Mayor's Dark Games? I'm a vital part of the resistance? No, dice resistance? Of course, if you say so.
Stronger, Queen? You'll be back soon.
Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show. You daily dive into the news, and with it being Monday, there is a lot we have to talk about today, starting with this. Mark Maron, Shane Gillis, and Zach Woods are slamming this comedy festival in Saudi Arabia that a bunch of their fellow stand-ups are participating in, and we should talk about it. Because it's called the Riyadh Comedy Festival. It kicked off on Friday. It lasts through October 9th, and it has a massive lineup. You've got Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Whitney Cummings, Andrew Schultz, and Flagrant, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, and the list just goes on and on. And you know, some have already gone on stage, some they still have sets upcoming, but they're all facing some backlash right now. Because Saudi Arabia, as you hopefully know, for quite a while has been criticized for its human rights abuses, like arresting journalists, exploited labor, executions for crimes like drug offenses, and way more. Like, it's literally about to be the anniversary of when Mohammed Bonesaw is believed to have killed Jamal Khashoggi. And in fact, just earlier this year, the nation's top court there executed a journalist who had been behind bars for over 7 years. And so with all this, last week you had Human Rights Watch issuing a statement arguing that the Saudi government is using the festival, quote, to deflect attention from its brutal repression of free speech and other pervasive human rights violations. And you had them then urging the performers to use their time at the festival to urge Saudi leaders to free unjustly detained journalists and activists so they're not laundering the government's reputation. Right, but also, it's not just activists and nonprofits who are slamming the comedians. I mean, you have tons of other comedians also speaking out. Right, you recently had comedian Mark Maron speaking on this.
I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one.
And actually, this whole thing goes back to July when you had comedian Shane Gillis saying he was offered the chance to perform in Saudi Arabia, but...
I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah. For the troops? Is it for the troops?
Not for the troops. It's for the Saudis.
For the Saudi princes?
Yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, you should do it. Everyone's doing it. It's like, for Saudis?
Yeah.
Weren't those the 9/11 guys?
And then Gillis later said that organizers doubled his pay offer, but he refused this significant amount of money so he could take a principled stand. Also, as far as like how much people were actually making for this, you had comedian Tim Dillon previously saying that he was going to do the fest because he was going to get $375,000 for doing one show. Right? He also claimed that some performers were offered as much as $1.6 million. But then Saudi Arabia apparently fired him from the gig over jokes that he made about forced labor in the country. And on that note, you had comedian Atsuko Okatsuka saying that she was offered the festival but turned it down and claimed that the gig came with a bunch of content restrictions. And with that, sharing a screenshot showing that artists aren't allowed to prepare material critical of Saudi Arabia, its royal family, or its government. Rather than adding a lot of the you can't say anything anymore comedians are doing the festival. They had to adhere to censorship rules. And, as all of this is playing out, we've seen some of the performers from the lineup defending their choice to go. Pete Davidson recently went on Theo Von's podcast and he said,
I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11, so they're like, how could you possibly go there? I just, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go.
Right, and so with all this, it's not surprising that the general backlash that we've seen are people calling them sellouts. Right, some saying they think it's ironic that some of the sort of free speech warriors are among the comedians performing in a country slam for repressing free speech. If you go to the comments of the top performers' Instagrams, you can see their fans calling them out. And then, with this, as far as my opinion on the matter, I'm conflicted because there's a number of people involved in this that I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised. Right, a number of them are bag chaser bullshit artists that I was like, yeah, okay. And then also, whether you love them or hate them, you could look to people like Kevin Hart and you're like, oh, that motherfucker never saw a check that he didn't want to cash. Like Kevin Hart would MC judicial amputations as long as it had enough zeros. And so I found myself more surprised, and I hate using the word disappointed because it's not like I'm his fucking daddy, but seeing Bill Burr there. And so overall with this, I end up just kind of wanting to know, like, what were any of the people involved here, as well as, what were any of the people that were involved in the whitewashing that we've seen of Saudi Arabia and other aspects thinking. And I think the closest thing that we've gotten to that was Nimesh Patel was previously involved in this and he ended up dropping out. He also then put out a very what felt like a passive-aggressive TikTok where he seemed to feel like he was the victim of this situation, right? As he was also then trying to like make this false equivalency comparison to the United States and Saudi Arabia. And then in a follow-up video he made after that, that was fucked up because he said if he had gone, it would have been essentially like 20% of the money that he would have made that year. And he shows a screenshot of his back and forth with his people where he's like, hey, I wouldn't do this thing if Netanyahu asked me. It feels like a moral thing. But then also in the same video, he was like, but if it was also like generational wealth, like it was money that would genuinely change my life, I'd still probably do it. And so I don't know. I think for the rest of them, it's probably just a mixed bag of I don't care about the controversy. I'm just going for that bag. Maybe they're thinking safety in numbers or I don't know. But hey, as this comedy festival continues to move along, I got to ask you, like, what are your thoughts around any of this? But then quickly, next up in the news, Trump, the president of the United States, shared and then deleted a seemingly AI-generated video showing a magic bed that cures all illnesses, which begs so many questions, though with this, right, it should be noted, it's not something that he made up, but it's actually a conspiracy theory that's been embraced by factions of QAnon. And the idea here is that there are these futuristic medical pods known as med beds that can miraculously cure every ailment and even regrow limbs. But for whatever reason, they're being kept from the American public by some combination of the government, liberals, the elite, and or big pharma. And so seemingly you had Trump playing into that by posting a video on Truth Social of what appeared to be an AI-generated Fox News segment of his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, making a big announcement about med beds.
President Donald J. Trump has announced a historic new healthcare system, the launch of America's first MedBed hospitals and a national MedBed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own MedBed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation, equipped with the most advanced technology in the world. These facilities are safe, modern, and designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. This is the beginning of a new era in American healthcare.
In this first phase, only a limited number of MedBed cards will be released. Registration details will be announced very soon.
And that absolutely wild, some would call it crazy video was reportedly on Trump's page for up to 12 hours before he deleted it. Bringing you at Fox News having to go out and tell multiple outlets that the segment never actually aired on any of their channels or platforms. But as of recording, that's basically all we know about this whole bizarre situation. But it's still unclear where the video actually came from, why Trump posted it, and at least as of recording, the White House, they haven't responded to multiple requests for comment from media outlets. And in the meantime, with this, right, you've seen the conversation online basically being what you'd expect, right? Many slamming Trump for sharing a conspiracy theory or just thinking that it's weird. Though also you have some saying that it's actually cruel for him to post this video while he and his party are making massive healthcare cuts, right? Especially because some of his own followers genuinely believe that this is a real thing. And you had some saying things like, this comes as he prepares to let the enhanced ACA subsidies expire and is even willing to force a government shutdown to achieve it. And saying the result would be millions of Americans facing crushing premium hikes and the real possibility of losing their coverage. Right, with that, in reference to the fact that Senate Democrats have refused to back a spending bill to fund the government and avert a shutdown if it doesn't extend key Obamacare subsidies. But then next up in the news, the city of Portland, Oregon has been ravaged by war. At least that is according to Donald Trump, who wrote on social media on Saturday. At the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. And adding, I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Now with that, it is not technically clear what Trump meant by full force, though you have a lot of people filling in the blanks there. And that, as you have the Pentagon saying in a statement simply that it was aware of the president's directive to mobilize military personnel to Portland. And that, as you had a departmental memo signed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reportedly indicating that 200 members of the Oregon National Guard will be called into federal service effective immediately for a period of 60 days. And of course, all of this, it begs the question, why? And well, Portland, it's long been a favorite target for Trump, especially since 2020 when tens of thousands of people there protested racial injustice following the murder of George Floyd. Right, and Trump, he sent hundreds of federal agents into the city with their stated purpose being protecting the federal courthouse and other federal property from vandalism. But a big thing is, this time around, we haven't seen anything close to that scale. What you've had for several months are pretty small groups of demonstrators, most nights no more than 24, reportedly camping outside of a building used by ICE in Southwest Portland. And actually, you've got the city threatening to take action against ICE for allegedly violating a conditional use permit for leasing the building that limits the number of detainees and length of time they can be held there. But in any case, clashes have occasionally broken out between the protesters and federal law enforcement at this building. And with that, you've got the New York Times reporting that the protesters chant and hold up signs and federal cars leave the building, sometimes even attempting to block the vehicles, but ultimately drawing little or no response during the day and early evening. Then they say that later in the evening, federal agents regularly leave the building to confront them and attempt to drive them away, with one protester saying they get violent, tear gas, batons, bear spray, rubber bullets, shields. And actually with that, you had a charter school renting space near the ICE facility saying they had to move out this fall, with them citing the heavy use of tear gas by federal agents and potential health risks for students. So then on the opposite side of this, you had the Trump administration attributing any violence to the protesters. And in fact, back in July, you had the Department of Homeland Security describing this ICE facility as being under siege and adding in a statement, rioters have attacked law enforcement officials, destroyed federal property, and have posted death threats at the facility. But in the face of all that, for the most part, Portland had stayed off of Trump's radar, with his attention mostly focused on cities like LA, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. That is until earlier this month when you had Fox News airing a report claiming to show protesters wreaking havoc outside of an ICE facility in Portland. So also, notably with that, you had footage of these small, isolated anti-ICE protests that have been taking place over the past few months, mixed in with a clip from the much larger 2020 protests, which apparently misled Trump about what was really happening right now. So then you had him saying in the Oval Office the next day that Portland hadn't been on his list of cities to send troops into before, but after watching television the previous night, he may have changed his mind.
Portland is unbelievable what's going on in Portland. The destruction of the city. Well, I'm going to look at it now because I didn't know that was still going on. This has been going on for years.
And then with that, you had him once again spreading the baseless conspiracy theory that these protesters were being paid.
These are paid terrorists, okay? These are paid agitators. These are professional. I watched that last night. I'm very good at this stuff. These are paid agitators. They get paid money by radical left groups, not radical right groups, radical left groups. And they get paid a lot of money.
Right, and that, of course, ties into his recent executive order declaring Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, right? A designation that notably doesn't actually exist under U.S. law. And that's, of course, before even mentioning that anti-fascism, like fascism itself, is a political ideology and not a specific organization. Right, but regardless, one of the things we've seen now is that these Trump threats, they've seemingly...
Yeah, how is it a political ideal... literally getting money. How do you send money to an idea, to a movement? It don't really work. Gotta have a organization.
Brought new life into the protest, with hundreds gathering outside of that ICE building last night. And then also something else we've seen are state and local officials presenting a united front and objecting to the deployment of troops. So you had Governor Tina Kotek saying she learned of the president's declaration after waking up to the news on social media like everyone else. Also adding that she had spoken with Trump and Noem since then and made it very clear that the military is not needed in Portland.
In my conversations directly with President Trump and Secretary Noem, I have been abundantly clear with them that Portland and the state of Oregon believe in the rule of law, and we can manage our own local public safety needs. There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. Military service members should be dedicated to real emergencies.
You also had Kotek urging people in Portland to not take the bait from Trump, saying any property damage or violence of any kind will get us nowhere and will not be tolerated. And then finally, you had her saying that she believed that Trump lacked the authority to deploy federal troops to Portland and that she was coordinating with a state attorney general to see what could be done. And so very quickly, we saw state and local officials suing the Trump administration over the planned National Guard deployment, and that complaint saying that Trump's characterization of Portland as a war-ravaged community is, quote, pure fiction, and adding that it appears that the president's false claims appear to be based on that single Fox News report that was broadcast earlier this month. And adding, the protests contained to a small area near Portland's ICE facility have been successfully managed by local law enforcement and do not in any way constitute a rebellion or danger of a rebellion. So, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens with the lawsuit because, notably a federal judge in California, they ruled earlier this month that the administration acted illegally by deploying the Guard and the Marines to Los Angeles back in June. But of course, with that, getting a decision here, it could take a while, and in the meantime, a lot can happen. And then we've got more to talk about in just a minute, but first, let me say, have you ever felt like your bills are plotting against you? You pay one and somehow 3 more appear overnight, like a surprise party you never asked for? Well, then your next move is PDS Debt, today's sponsor. And take the first step today. But then next up in the news, we need to talk about Donald Trump now securing a criminal indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. And Comey was fired by Trump back in 2017, and he's since become a prominent critic of the president. And also, we're gonna have to talk about Christopher Wray, who Trump appointed to replace Comey, but then quickly soured on due to his perceived lack of loyalty. But starting with Comey, you had a grand jury indicting him on Thursday. And that coming only a few days after Trump publicly chided Attorney General Pam Bondi for not moving fast enough to prosecute Comey and the president's other political enemies. He forced out the attorney in charge of the district investigating Comey and installed his personal lawyer, Lindsay Halligan, who has no experience as a prosecutor in the position. And with that, you've had the New York Times reporting that the filing of the indictment came over the objection of career prosecutors who found insufficient evidence to support charges but were overruled by Halligan. And in fact, that 2-page indictment, it was only signed by Halligan when it's very normal for these firings to be endorsed by multiple prosecutors who've been involved in gathering evidence in the case. What you had in the end there was 14 of the 23 grand jurors who heard the presentation of charges voting to indict Comey, just narrowly clearing that 12-vote threshold. And specifically, what you saw was they decided that prosecutors had probable cause to bring 1 count of making a false statement to Congress and 1 count of obstruction of a congressional proceeding. And both of those counts, they relate to Comey's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2020. The first alleges that Comey lied when he told the committee that he hadn't authorized someone at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports regarding an investigation into Person 1, which appears to be a reference to Hillary Clinton. And then the second, it alleges that Comey did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede the committee by making false statements. And with that, Halligan also tried to get the grand jury to indict Comey on a second false statement charge, but that one got rejected. Still, Comey faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted. Though notably, with this, you've got a number of legal experts saying that this case is going to be difficult to prove, and it could even get thrown out of court, and they're pointing to Trump's own statements as evidence of this being vindictive prosecution. And so with all this, you're seeing several current and former Justice Department officials condemning the decision to file charges on what they say is weak evidence. You also have Democratic politicians and rights groups blasting the move. Or you've got House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, for example, arguing that the indictment is a disgraceful attack on the rule of law and saying that Donald Trump and his sycophants in the Department of Justice are completely and totally out of control. You also had a top figure at the ACLU calling the indictment a grotesque abuse of presidential power and adding that Trump has yet again proven his disdain for the principles that have actually made America great. And then, as far as Comey, he posted a video statement on social media saying that he was innocent and he welcomed a trial.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either.
On the other side of this, right, with the Trump administration, you had Bondi claiming no one is above the law and arguing. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American public. You then also had Trump celebrating the news in a post on Truth Social, calling Comey one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to, and claiming he's now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. And all of this is, he appeared to suggest that Comey will not be the last to be prosecuted.
It's not a list, but I think there'll be others. I mean, they're corrupt. These were corrupt, radical left Democrats. Because Comey essentially was he's worse than a Democrat. I would say the Democrats are better than Comey. But no, there'll be others. Look, that's my opinion. They weaponized the Justice Department like nobody in history. What they've done is terrible. And so I hope there are others, because you can't let this happen to a country.
And so with all that, it wasn't long before you had Trump setting his sights on Comey's successor, Christopher Wray. With this seemingly being driven by recent reports in right-wing media that more than 200 plainclothes FBI agents were present at the Capitol on January 6th, which is something that a number of people have pointed to as evidence of this whole thing being an inside job aimed at framing and prosecuting Trump supporters. And while many have labeled those folks as conspiracy theorists, among them appear to be Donald Trump himself. Because on Saturday, you had Trump posting on social media that the FBI had secretly placed 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax, claiming this is different from what Director Christopher Wray stated over and over again, saying they were probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officials. And adding, Christopher Wray, the then director of the FBI, has some major explaining to do. That's 2 in a row, Comey and Wray, who got caught lying with our great country at stake. We can never let this happen to America again. But with that, as far as what we know, you had the Justice Department Inspector General already finding that there's no evidence that undercover agents were in the crowd when the riot broke out, or saying that there were 26 confidential human sources, but 1, they're not agents or employees of the FBI, and 2, according to the Inspector General's report, they didn't tell the Bureau of their plans to attend, and none were instructed to violate any laws or participate in the riot. And then you did actually have FBI personnel on the scene, but only after the riot had already broken out and at the request of the Capitol Police, with some also responding to pipe bombs placed near the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee headquarters the night before. And you even had current FBI Director Kash Patel acknowledging this on Fox News over the weekend, right, explaining that agents had been sent to the Capitol for crowd control purposes after the riot was already underway. But with that, you still had Patel arguing that this was not the proper role of FBI agents and pointing to Wray's past refusal to disclose if agents or sources were embedded within the crowd. But there with that, you have many saying it's not clear that Wray actually lied to Congress. Right, noting in 2023, he very clearly told lawmakers that the violence at the Capitol was not part of some operation orchestrated by the FBI, but he refused to disclose if any agents or sources were embedded within the crowd. But still, you had Trump doubling down on this yesterday, saying he would think the Justice Department is investigating Wray. But for now, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens with Comey and Wray, though it's very likely it doesn't end with them. But then next up in the news, 4 deadly mass shootings happened in this country over the weekend, and it's left at least 10 dead and many more injured. Right, and so we'll start in Grand Blanc Township in Michigan, a roughly 8,000 person community just outside of Flint and roughly 50 miles from Detroit. And at around 10:30 yesterday morning, a truck reportedly rammed through the doors of a local Mormon church before the driver got out and started shooting an assault rifle at the hundreds of people inside the church as they ran away. Right, and then a fire broke out, with local police saying that it was started intentionally by the gunman who used gasoline as an accelerant, and police saying that they also found explosive devices. Right, and as far as the shooter, he was later identified as a 40-year-old former Marine and veteran of the Iraq War, and he was shot and killed by police on the scene. And so with his death, the total number dead reached 5, with 2 churchgoers being shot and another 2 bodies being pulled from the building after the fire. Right, and that as another 8 people were injured, 7 of those in stable condition, though 1 remains critical. Now with this, the police, they haven't released names of the victims as I'm recording this. They also warned that there may be more victims revealed as the investigation continues, with the local chief of police saying, "We do believe that there were people up there that were near that fire and they were unable to get out of the church." And adding, "We do believe we will find additional victims once we're able to search that, once there are no signs of a fire reignited." And also regarding investigations, you have the FBI saying that they're investigating this as a targeted act of violence, though right now a motive is yet to be determined. And so, this is something we're gonna have to keep our eyes on, especially as most of the community, they were caught wildly off guard by one of their own doing something like this. Right, as far as what we know, the shooter reportedly graduated from a nearby high school in 2004 before joining the Marines and having what was described as a stellar military career during the 4 years that he served. You also had a former high school classmate saying he was an avid hunter who he regularly saw around town, even running into him at the gym earlier in the week. Right, that classmate saying he was happy to see me, he just seemed normal. Right, and that was something that was echoed by his former landlady and his neighbors. But then also with this, you've had a number of people sharing a photo that appears to be the shooter in a Trump 2020 shirt that's been circulating online. Right, and that is, there's also reporting from the Daily Beast saying that there was was, as of June of this year, a pro-Trump sign outside of his house. You also have this local consultant on voter and petition information saying that the shooter had previously signed 2 petitions, one to repeal Governor Gretchen Whitmer's COVID mandates and one to outlaw abortion in the state, all of which has led to people saying numerous things online, right? Some trying to fill in the blanks as to the motive of why he would do this, right? And others saying this is why we're seeing a drastically different reaction from the right on this situation. You know, with all that, like I always kind of try to stress in moments like this, I think it's important to see as things are developing and information's coming in to see what comes from the investigation, right? And with that, you have people noting that the shooter wasn't publicly registered to either party, and we don't have any concrete information on what his connection to the church was at this point. The one that noted this being a church, we've seen a lot of big names speaking out against violence.
They have, though. When did he make this? 11 hours ago? The people in the church already spoke out.
Violence in places of worship in general. And that including Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who promised to create a task force dedicated to protecting places of worship, writing on X, "The escalation of violent attacks against people and places of faith is heinous and must end." Now with that, as far as wider reactions, you had several politicians chiming in to condemn the violence, praise first responders, and of course, offer thoughts and prayers. We also saw statements from Vice President J.D. Vance and FBI Director Kash Patel calling the shooting horrific and awful. You also had Trump promising that his administration would keep the public posted with updates and saying this epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. But also, we're not done here because, like I said, there were 4 mass shootings this weekend. So the next one we're talking about happened in North Carolina, right? Less than 14 hours before the shooting in Michigan, a gunman fired on an open-air dockfront bar in Southport from his boat on the water. And there, 3 people were killed and another 5 were wounded before the shooter drove his boat away from the bar toward the intracoastal waterway. So there, within about 30 minutes, he was spotted by the U.S. Coast Guard and arrested. And the shooter then revealed to be a 40-year-old decorated combat veteran who was awarded the Purple Heart for his service in Iraq during 2005 and 2006. And according to the police, this was a highly premeditated attack that he carried out on his own. As for the victims, their names, they haven't been released yet, but we do know that one of those injured isn't doing well, with the police saying that they are clinging for their life. Also, while the motive here is still under investigation, you had the local police chief saying that the shooter is claiming to have PTSD after being injured in the line of duty during his time in Iraq. Right? You also had the chief going on to say that they were previously aware of this man, and he reportedly filed lawsuits against the city of Southport and the police department before. But with that, the district attorney added there was, quote, nothing significant in his past which would give us any indication that he was capable of such horror. But then from there, we have to go further south and talk about Texas, where 2 people were killed and several more injured at a shooting at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. And the shooting there reportedly happened just after midnight Saturday night when a raffle drew a large crowd to the casino. The shooter there firing on that crowd and then fleeing the scene, with his car then being later tracked down by multiple law enforcement agencies before he was taken into custody. Right in there, you had the local sheriff's department identifying the shooter as a 34-year-old former member of the National Guard. And while that investigation is still ongoing, we do know who at least one of the victims was, a retired U.S. Customs and Border Protection agent named Marcus Antley, with the local mayor saying that Antley was a beloved community member who, quote, will be remembered not only for his career, but also for his generosity, leadership, and the lasting friendships he built. So then the last place we'll talk about here is New Orleans, where 1 woman was killed and another 3 people were injured in a shooting on Bourbon Street. Because just before 2:30 on Sunday morning, you had police responding to reports of gunfire. Right when they arrived, they found 3 victims, 1 woman who was declared dead at the scene, another injured woman, another injured man, and they later found another victim at a nearby intersection who had been grazed by one of the shots fired and was taken to the hospital with the other 2 injured victims. Right, and currently with this shooting, the police are still looking for the shooter and trying to determine motive. But they also released stills to the public looking for information about an unidentified man that they say is a suspect in the case. Right, the police also confirming that the shooting was caught on camera. So, while we'll have to wait to see what happens there and also what information we get from all of these situations. You have many noting that just this year alone, this is a part of the at least 324 mass shootings, according to the nonprofit Gun Violence Archive. But again, we need to see what comes from the investigations and really all 4 of these situations. And in the meantime, for any of them, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions. But then, with everything that we've talked about today, it ultimately has brought us to the one final thing that I want to hit on. I do think it's important because it does feel like there are a lot of people and a lot of entities out there that are pushing us versus them, left versus right. It's just a complete black and white situation of you did this, even if it's just someone drastically disconnected from you. And it was this moment from this morning where I was talking to the Bulwark's Tim Miller for a podcast I actually just put out on the In Good Faith podcast channel. And of course, as always, I'll link to the full hour in the description as well as the end of the video. But here's what he said.
The other element to that you're talking about is just this kind of never-ending internal cold civil war that we have, that I think everybody kind of imagines they're part of. Well, everybody's wrong. Too many people kind of imagine that they're part of, right? On social media, which is like, after a tragedy, I need to post to prove that it's the other side's fault, right? Or I need to post to remind people that, that if this one was my fault, there's actually been more that's the other side's fault, right? And my point is kind of like, that is an unhealthy way to think just individually. People should stop doing that. But also, like, you can't live as a society like that. Like, we have to be able to live together. Like, Tyler Robinson was not on my team. Like, this guy that shot up the Mormon church in Michigan, who apparently like wore a Trump shirt. We'll see exactly what the details are. But like, that guy was not on Ben Shapiro's team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because they both voted for Donald Trump in 2020. We need to all live together in a democratic society. And if we treat the people on the other side like their worst example is representative of everybody that voted for that person, well then it's kind of rational for some people to start thinking that we should have a civil war.
It brings us to the end of this video. You've got even more just a click away. You've got my brand new full podcast with Tim Miller right here. We covered a lot. It gets spicy at times from Tim, as well as your newest Philip DeFranco show they haven't seen yet right here. I've even got links in the description for
Survival, twilight, and ultimate demise of divine beings seems to follow its own evolutionary patterns, such that some gods endure without significant cultic or theological change for centuries, while others blaze onto the world stage only to burn themselves up into extinction almost as soon as they appeared.